Your son is a failure. He's barely passing my class, and with grades like this.
हाँ जी सर एक बार शुरू मत करिए
मैं अभी शुरू नहीं कर रहा शुरू से मैं पहले कुछ बोलूंगा फिर बाद में
नहीं सर पहले I'll introduce. So good morning to all the participants present online as well as offline. So welcome to the second technical session of day 3 of the short term course on institutional management and academic administration. So anyone from the online participants, if you could confirm, am I audible to everybody?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Arvinder sir. Thank you so much.
Yes, sir. You are very well online.
Thank you so much, sir. So for this technical session, we have with us Professor P.K. Singla, sir. So I'll give a brief introduction about sir, then we'll begin with the session. With over 34 years of teaching experience, Professor P.K. Singla currently holds the esteemed position of Associate Professor in the department. 37 years of teaching experience. Singla sir currently holds the esteemed position of Associate Professor in the Department of Curriculum Development at NITTT Chandigarh. And he's also serving as Faculty in Charge Administration in the Institute. Sir has earned a bachelor's and master's degree in civil engineering with specialization in irrigation and hydraulics. Notably, he has made significant contributions to research with publications of 82 papers in renowned national and international journals. Additionally, he has provided guidance to many ME students for the completion of their dissertations. Furthermore, while serving in the Rural Development Department, he has developed and transferred 20 low-cost technologies aimed at improving the lives of rural communities in India. In addition to his expertise in engineering, Sir has authored 8 books on diverse subjects such as English and communication skills, as well as applied mechanics and basics of management. He has also been instrumental in revising over 90 curricula while serving at the Department of Curriculum Development and has successfully managed numerous projects within the department during his tenure. So I take this golden opportunity to invite such an eminent expert amongst us. So we welcome you, Singla sir, and hope to learn from your extensive knowledge and experience. So over to you, Singla sir. Sir, no need to unmute. You are unmuted.
I'm unmuted. My dear friends, am I audible to all the remote centers and my friends on the ICT?
Yes,
Hello.
sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, friends, a very good morning, I would say, to everyone. And I welcome you, all of you, to this very important session on curriculum development and how do you manage the curriculum in your institutions. Because ultimately, when we talk about the grassroots level, you are the people who are executing the things in the classroom or off the classrooms also. When we say curriculum in the broad sense, the curriculum also includes co-curriculum as well as extracurricular activities. Before I start my session, I wanted to start my session with a video film, if you all permit me. This video film is a conversation between a parent, largely between a student and a teacher. And this will be the premises with which I will be dwelling upon in my session on the curriculum development process and how you execute that in your everyday life, everyday teaching learning process. And this video is having some, the conversation is in a little bit of an American accent. So there are subtitles I have included in the video also. So you can read it also, but it's not that tough an accent that you will not be able to follow it. It's in the English. So I request all of you to kindly increase your volumes, those who are attending online, volumes of your laptop or maybe mobile phone, wherever you are logging in, and then we start the video. Kamal, should I start the video? Okay.
Your son is a failure. He's barely passing my class, and with grades like this, I'm just not sure what kind of future he's gonna have. What do you have to say for yourself? You're supposed to graduate this year.
Listen to Mr. Johnson. What kind of future do you think you're gonna have?
With all due respect, don't call me a failure. Failure is an event, not a person in fact. And you talk about the future, Mr. Johnson, but you're not preparing us for that.
Excuse me?
Just listen to what I'm saying.
This should be good.
Would you agree that in the future, most careers will become automated?
Yeah, so?
So the people who succeed will have to be curious, innovative, with resilience to adapt to new changes.
What's your point?
My point is, the focus in this school is not on that. It is on regurgitating information and test taking, and that's just real. But in today's world, creativity is the most important leadership skill.
Oh, that's how you feel.
You don't have to believe me, but maybe you will believe the 1,500 executives who recently said creativity is the most important leadership skill. See, pretty soon, no one will be hired because of what they know. Because who cares what you know or if you've memorized a fact? We've got Google and Siri for that. In the future, people will be hired because of what they can do with their knowledge. Can they creatively solve real-world problems, not just follow instructions or directions and bubble in multiple choice questions? So, Mom, that's why I'm stressed, because these robotic tasks we learn in school should stop. Because no one can do a robot's job better than a robot. Billionaire founder of Alibaba, Jack Ma, said that we should not compete with artificial intelligence, but instead focus on developing unique human intelligence. Mr. Johnson, drills are for teeth, not the human mind. So these repetitive knowledge-based tasks we must leave behind. Or in the future, you're gonna find a lot of people graduating out of your class right into the unemployment line. See, many top companies today don't look at grades. Mom, that old way is expiring. Google has been quoted as saying GPAs are worthless criteria for hiring. Founder of Tesla, Elon Musk, agrees. So I say this with unease and sorrow. If you continue to teach today as you taught yesterday, then you rob us students of tomorrow. Mr. Johnson, I'm gonna keep it real with you. Sometimes sitting in your class is tough. I'm constantly thinking, if I don't look up at the clock, maybe it'll speed up. So I listen to you do my work and pay attention, feeling like an hour had to have gone by. But it was only 3 minutes. So if you wonder why we're bored in class, look, you wanna get a kid to hate reading? Give them this, a school textbook. And some people think it's our fault, and that hurts me. They say you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. And to that I say no. Firstly, you can put salt in that horse's hay and make him thirsty. And if you bring joy in your classroom, you can make any bad student nerdy. As he or she discovers the beauty of truly learning. Mr. Johnson, I mean no disrespect. You have the most important job on this planet. You build, create, and save lives. But if you really care about my future, like you say, then you have to fully commit and ask yourself honestly, how do I prepare a child for a future that doesn't yet exist? Here's a hint. The answer is not found in this. It's using this and this. See, in the future, we will need more passion and compassion. People with inspired hearts and wisdom to uplift this planet. And Mom, I love you, but can I be real?
Go ahead.
You want to know one of the biggest factors for childhood success? It's not IQ. It's family meals. And we haven't had one of those in a while. See, I know sometimes you don't feel proud, because I may not be a straight A student, but I'm not stupid. These tests may be 70% of my grade, but they're 0% of my future. But don't worry, I'll pass this class and get through this. But I need you to give me the space I need to be me and live true. Because the best feeling in the world is that your own parents get you. There's a passage in a book called The Prophet by Khalil Gibran. And if you don't mind, I'd love to share it with you.
Go ahead.
See, he says, your children are not your children. They are the sons and daughters of life longing for itself. They come through you, but not from you. And though they are with you, they do not belong to you. You may give them your love, but not your thoughts, for they have their own thoughts. You may house their bodies, but not their souls, for their souls dwell in the house of tomorrow. So, Mom, I'd appreciate it if you give me the love that I need to pursue my dreams. See, if we are to succeed, all three of us need behavior change on all fronts. We talk about the future, but the future is now, and it is created now by all of us.
I've never heard you speak like that before.
Yeah, I didn't know.
But I'm gonna reach out to administration and try to change some things. You have my word.
I hope you followed the video, the message. This all the time we are talking about the information, knowledge, all those things. when we design the curriculum, or when we implement the curriculum. Nowadays, everything, even earlier it was in the books, now it is in your laptops. It's available in Google, Siri, or many other search engines. You can take search any information, any kind of knowledge which you are talking about. And when we talk about education, one of the main principles of education is, the purpose of education is to develop the creative skills in the students. And by fixed curriculum, by too much of fixing of the curriculum, we are killing the creativity in the students. You all agree on this? And I seek your very, very active participation. I have a lot of agenda. We usually do 5-day program only on curriculum development process, 5-day program. But I am going to put it in a capsule form to talk about some of the very pertinent things which you require to do in your everyday teaching learning processes. And I want your very active participation in my session. Usually, I believe in having a lot of participation and interacting with my participants. My participants from on the internet or on the online, and my participants who are attending me here in person in this hall also. We talk about curriculum, and we talk about syllabus. It's very, very basic question I'm asking you. Do you find any difference between curriculum and syllabus? And if there is difference, what is the difference?
सेम आंसर है सर कि सिलेबस के अंदर तो सिर्फ हमारे पास जो कंटेंट्स रहेंगे वो रहते हैं, और करिकुलम के अंदर जो कॉम्पिटेंसी प्रोफाइल ऑफ दैट ब्रांच, उसका जो नंबर्स हैं, उसके इंटरनल, एक्सटर्नल, और ये सब रहता है इन एडिशन टू सिलेबस.
Okay, thank you so much, Rajat ji. Anybody else?
Syllabus is a subset of curriculum.
Okay, yes. Beyond that, what is that? What the syllabus is having, and what is that which is there in the curriculum? So we want to have a basic terminology. I in my classes, I always like to go to the basics first and then develop on the subjects. We should be on the common platform. And one of the things which I want to share with all of you is, at this point of time, is in the classroom, I am not testing your intellectual capabilities. And please do not do that in your classes also. The purpose of asking question is that we should be having the prerequisite should be clear to us so that I can develop on my subjects. We are not here to find the exact answer. And you also, when you ask question in the classroom, if a student is maybe partially right, or totally wrong, or totally right, you are there to supplement, and you're there to give them the right answers also. Okay, so this is what I wanted to share. Okay, now my question again, please do not think मेरे को हिंदी भी आती है. I think everybody knows Hindi also here, और जो लोग attend कर रहे हैं उनको भी हिंदी आती है. Language should not be a barrier. It is a carrier of the message, but not the barrier of the message.
But I think there are some problems from people from Tamil Nadu.
It's Tamil Nadu से. Okay, then I will restrict myself to English only. Okay, anybody else? खुल के बात करिए आप.
Curriculum is a summary of contents, whereas curriculum is, you can say, a detailed study of contents regarding educational purpose.
Okay, thank you so much, Harvinder Singh ji. Okay, I gather your viewpoints on this. Somebody wants to say anything?
It's more includes the expected outcomes, the resources required.
Okay,
These are
okay,
the
okay.
comprehensive kind of things.
Okay, okay.
For all the academic and non-academic activities that needs to be taken out in a due course of time.
It's a total plan. It's a total plan. Let me share with you. I will not go too much in details of the dictionary meanings, but let me go to it you on a very, very simple definition here, which will clearly bring out. This was 1950s में education के ऊपर जब research हुई तो उन्होंने ये बात निकाल दी, and it is true for today's times also. Your syllabus is what you teach. What to teach means the content part is your syllabus. The curriculum also includes why you teach what you are teaching. जो आपने contents पढ़ाने हैं, वो आप क्यों पढ़ा रहे हैं? What is the rationale behind it? The reasoning, the rationale, the need analysis. The curriculum also talks about why you are teaching what you are teaching, the contents, why you are teaching these contents. Okay? And it also talks about how to teach. This is very important. You have the contents, you have the freedom that you may like to engage a theory class, you may like to engage a practical class. When I say practical class, it means it can be the same content can be taught through a laboratory, through a workshop, through a project, through an industrial visit. It talks about the strategies, whether you want to use the expository where you expose the student to final contents, or you want to use the discovery where you are not giving the contents but giving opportunities to the student to discover the contents. So it talks about the strategies, it talks about the methods, it talks about the practice, how effectively you can implement, you can convey whatever you want to say in the content. The curriculum is a complete plan of action from why to how to teach us. It should be having that guidelines for the teachers that you may like to do this, you may like to do this, you may like to do this for effective implementation of the curriculum. With me? All of you are with me? Okay. The last thing, which is one of the very, very important thing, and some of my friends here also has mentioned, probably you also mentioned it here, sir, that how do we know that we have taught? How do we know that we have taught? How to evaluate? How do we know that whatever contents have been given to me, for whatever the purpose is, are we able to achieve that purpose or not? So the curriculum talks about the assessment and evaluation strategies also. Assessment means on a daily basis, formative evaluation, you can say it, on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, on a monthly basis, whatever the strategies the curriculum is trying to find out. And then end term evaluation also, what you call as final exams also. It can be a theory exam, it can be a practical exam. So the curriculum is a much broader term, whereas the syllabus is only the first part of these 4 components. What to teach. Yes. And many of the things, your syllabus, and many of you mentioned about it also. And in my first sentence also, I mentioned in the broader term, curriculum also includes co-curricular and extracurricular activities also. Yes, so many things which we want to achieve. We want to have the student to have a good health. Uske liye, one of the objectives of the curriculum is the student should also have a good health. Uske liye sports hai. That is not part of your contents. So those things are also included in that. Now, let us try to spend 5-6 minutes on the elements of the curriculum design. And before that, let me share with you, there are 4 stages of a curriculum development process itself. 4 stages. Number 1 is need analysis. Why do you require to start this diploma or a degree program in a particular place? What is the need? Curriculum is talking about that. Curriculum development process involves what is the need to have a civil engineering. I will be giving you example from civil engineering background. Why should we have a mechanical engineering diploma program? Why should we have a degree program in mechanical engineering, or for that matter, any discipline in so and so location? Are there long-term employment opportunities in the market for that? What are the technological needs in the market which we should address through our curriculum? So need analysis is a very big term. So this is the first stage. The starting point is, why should we have a diploma program? Usse bhi pehle, why should we have a polytechnic? Why should we have an engineering college? Unfortunately, I am being recorded here, but I am sharing with you, I have not come across a thorough data-based need analysis for starting a diploma, for starting a degree, for starting a polytechnic, for starting a engineering college. These are largely based on the political decisions. कि हमारे स्टेट में इतने इंजीनियरिंग कॉलेज खोल दो, इतने डिप्लोमा खोल दो, इतने ये कर लो, इतना ये वाली ब्रांच के खोल लो, ये do you have sufficient data? In the absence of that data, जो need analysis का part है, you are not able to take right decisions. After a few years, you find that there is no employment. Today morning, I was discussing in Himachal Pradesh with some faculty member. At 3 places, they have closed the Department of Electronics. Had the need analysis been done properly, that stage will not come so early. And even if there is less demand of electronics. I always say there is nothing called, this branch is more sellable, this branch is more sellable. If you make your student employable, there is a demand for electronics engineering today also. मैंने electronics का नाम ले लिया. For that matter, for good number of years, civil engineering was out of demand. When I took admission in 1978 in Thapar Engineering College, civil engineering was a great demand. SYL project was coming. So many projects was coming. Due to some political reasons, due to some other reasons, those projects were shelved. And all the students, only few, 3 engineering colleges were there. They were not finding jobs. So nobody was opting for civil engineering. For lately, when there is emphasis of the government on the infrastructure development, again, we are finding that this. But during all these times, there was a demand for the civil engineers also. And for mechanical, for electronics. In our times, these used to be the only 3 branches. So there is, if you make your student employable, there is the employment for them, number 1. Number 2, we should have a good database to design anything. Let us say if I have to design an element of a building, let us say if I have to design a column or a beam or a foundation or for anything, for that matter, any mechanical के आपके design के काम, electrical में आपका design का काम है, you require a database. And designing में, what are the things which you do in the designing? You do decision making. Should we do this? Should we do this? Considering the merits and demerits of anything, you take the decisions in any design. मेरे को लगता है कि I have to, let us say, execute something and I need to design it. And I have a database. मेरे को लगता है कि ये material ठीक है, ये I have option of 3 materials, 4 materials, 4 processes. Which process, which material I will choose will depend on the database I am having with me. Most suitable in my situation. Do you agree on this? We are all engineers here, so we all understand the design process. I give you a simpler example for the teachers who are not from the engineering background, maybe even for them also. Let us say, आप कहाँ से आए हैं sir?
Presently, I'm representing Government Polytechnic Nanakpur as an HOD Mechanical Engineering.
कौन से?
Government Polytechnic Nanakpur.
नानकपुर. दिल्ली में?
Panchkula district.
पंचकुला डिस्ट्रिक्ट. आप कहाँ से सर? मानेसर से आए हैं. My friend has come from Manesar. Let us say he has to design or plan his way back from Chandigarh to Manesar. It is a plan he has to do. Every design is a plan, okay? And he has the database के यहाँ से कौन-कौन सी ट्रेन जा रही हैं, कितने बजे जाती हैं, कौन-कौन सी क्लासेस, कहाँ-कहाँ पे reservation available है, how many flights are going from here, how many buses are going from here, if I have to go by taxi, one way की taxi है या 2 way की, how much is going to cost. Depending on his requirement, if he has the database of everything, he will be able to design his journey. In the absence of that, he may not be able to get a best plan to go back to his journey. Are you getting my point, sir? Am I right or wrong? You may not be aware कि यहाँ से taxi service भी जाती है, which is very, very convenient, which will put you right on your home, and which will cost you same thing which you are spending on the bus or in the train also. You may not be aware. In the absence of the data, you may not be able to take a right decision. And even if you have to go to Panchkula, you have to know, if you have a database, कि आज कौन सी सड़क पे ट्रैफिक ज्यादा है, कौन सी सड़क पे ट्रैफिक कम है, what will be the minimum time, maybe distance wise this route is better, but then I will be reaching my home earlier if I follow the other route. I will be spending less of the fuel in my car and more time in my family also. Are you getting my point, sir? So in any design, we have to have a database, and we design the elements of the total design. For example, I give you example of the building design. If I have to design a building के elements क्या हैं? Foundation, columns, beams, slabs, services. There are the different, and I have to design all those things, and then it will be leading to my complete design. Then I say, okay, I have designed the building. Yes. Similarly, when we talk about after the need analysis, we talk about the designing of the curriculum. We need to take decisions, and we have 9 elements. 9 elements of the curriculum design. And I am going to share with you those design elements, because when your diploma holder have to get the work executed on the shop floor, they need to have some information of the design also. They have to know, they have to understand कि what your drawing में लिखा क्या हुआ है, क्यों लिखा गया ऐसा, and so that he can better supervise and get the things executed on the shop floor. And you are the executor, the shop floor managers of the curriculum, which you are implementing every day in your teaching learning processes. With me? And you must know the elements कि क्या क्या elements हैं, वो ऐसे elements क्यों रखे गए हैं हमारे curriculum के अंदर. If you are able to appreciate that and you understand that, hopefully you will be able to come out with a better execution of the teaching learning process in your everyday in the college. The first element is objectives. Objectives of the curriculum of the whole program, objectives of the course which you are teaching, objectives of the topic which you are teaching today. I'm starting from the course, the program, to the subject, to the topic. If you know कि मेरे आज की क्लास के अंदर मेरा ऑब्जेक्टिव क्या है पढ़ाने का, and it is mentioned in the curriculum design. It is mentioned in the curriculum design. If it is not mentioned, then it is not a curriculum. It is only a syllabus. क्यों पढ़ा रहे हैं आप? I mentioned in the one why component. The objective should be very clear. If the objective is very clear to you of your everyday, आज का टॉपिक का ऑब्जेक्टिव आपके माइंड में क्लियर है, hopefully with your teaching learning strategies, with teaching learning methodologies, teaching learning practice, you will be able to achieve the objectives. If you are not even aware about the objectives, anyway you will be teaching in the class. मैं ये नहीं कह रहा कि वो गलत होगा, मैं ये कह रहा हूँ कि if the objective is very clear, if I know my destination, कि मेरे को मानेसर जाना है, मेरे को इस जगह पे जाना है, then hopefully you will reach your destination very clearly. Yes or no? This is what the first element is objective. When we design the curriculum, we make very clear statements about the objectives of the topics, maybe few topics together achieve one objective, or maybe few subjects together achieve one outcome which we are expected from the curriculum. So this is objectives are very, very important thing. Lot of emphasis should be given, should be very clear to the designers, to the implementers, to the evaluators, what is the objective of things. The second element is how to achieve this objective now. I require sand, I require aggregates, I require so and so, I require some information, I require steel, I require cement, I require, all those things you require. You require to have a ticket, you have to have a money, you have to have this, all the content should be very, very clear to you कि ये पढ़ाना है मेरे को exactly, this is exactly what I have to do. I have to reach so and so station and board a bus and do this thing. Now you are putting on the execution part. With me on this? And then the third element is you design the content and then you design the learning activities. What kind of experiences you want to give to the students are the learning activities. You want to give them the tutorials. You want to give them the quiz. You want to give them a lecture on this. You want to put them in a lab. You want to put them in a, you want to take them to a visit to an industry or maybe in the field visit in a construction site or anywhere. So those learning activities are defined, which is covering the how component of the curriculum. You remember the four things? What, why, how, and how do you know that you have achieved? So we are now coming to the design of those things, those elements in the curriculum design process itself. Understand? The learning activities. The curriculum document should be a guideline for the teachers what kind of learning activities you should engage in. It is a very, very complex thing when you design the curriculum, not the syllabus. I have been, or I am still today, member of the Board of Studies in Punjab University and some of the good universities or good boards also, diploma ke jahan par program design hote hain. And he mentioned that I have designed 90 plus curriculum. Many times we are not designing these things. In the absence of that, we will come down to that, what kind of models which we use in the curriculum design itself. But this is the ideal thing to do. यदि मैंने कॉलम में कहीं पे मतलब गड़बड़ कर दी तो the whole building can collapse. I am not able to meet the requirement for which I am designing a program. And I have a constant complaint from the user कि आपकी building में ये service ठीक नहीं है, आपकी building में ये cracks आ गए. The employer is telling कि आपके diploma holder या degree holder are not able to perform to the level for which we are looking for. Yes or no? There can be problems in the objectives, there can be problem in the content, there can be problem in the activities which were not effective in developing those kind of outcomes which are required by the industry. And the fourth element in the curriculum design is learning material and resource. You require to have 10 experiments, but you have the material and the equipment only for 3 or 4. Or you have the learning material and resources. Resources means manpower also. You do not have a technician, you do not have the manpower in your college to demonstrate and get that work executed in the laboratory or in the drawing class or in the workshop or in the project. आपके पास वो resource नहीं है. In the absence of that, if you are designing, if you know, identify those things, you will be able to procure or you will be able to hire that, or you will be able to develop a linkage with somebody. For example, in this institute, if you are here, those who are attending the program here in person, you can visit our laboratories. We have civil engineering department, mechanical engineering department, electronics, electrical, computer science. These are 5 core engineering departments which we are having here. And our laboratories are reasonably, I would say, well equipped. And if you feel that your students do not have those resources, those materials in your polytechnic, in your engineering college, we open our doors to you. This institute opens our doors to you. And many of the engineering colleges, many of the polytechnic students, they come here for doing certain experiments. They come here for 3 days, do those experiments for which the material and resources are not available with you. मैं ये नहीं कह रहा कि आप यहीं पे आए. You can have a network with the nearby NIT, nearby IIT, nearby industry, nearby, some kind of networking, or maybe in the industry itself, you can take the student and give them those experiences where the learning material and resources are available. If it is available, and you can plan to have that in your college also, maybe in coming times. But in the meantime, do not let that batch suffer because of the lack of the material and resources. But in the design, you must mention, we require this kind of material, this kind of resources, so that when the curriculum is coming to your college, to your polytechnic or to your engineering college, the authorities know that you, in the design, it is mentioned that you require so much of resources, such kind of manpower, such kind of machinery, such kind of finances. They are able to provide for that. I am giving you the design, I am giving you the implementation strategies also, how you can achieve that. Are you with me on this, sir? Any questions up to now? But this should be part of the curriculum design itself. It should clearly bring out what kind of resources are required. I require hostel. I require an auditorium. I require a mess. I require a playground. I require, besides the classrooms I'm talking about, besides the classroom, I require, those resources should be very clearly spelled out. We talked about the extracurricular activity. Uske liye fir resources bhi chahiye. Facilities chahiye. If it is not with me, I do not have a 400-meter track, but Sector 7 nearby, we have a 400-meter track, so I can hire that. There are ways, but it is mentioned here that we require this resource to develop the physical abilities of the students. I will put somebody on the duty that he will either create or he will hire or he will develop a network.
I'll put a very point here that we clearly know that these are the learning resources required, learning material required, but somehow if you see practically on the ground realities, this assurance that these resources are definitely required to get that desired outcome, it is somewhere lacking in our curriculum design. Yes. Probably,
Yeah, it is lacking.
Because what we do is that one part we do
content part
we do very clearly.
We do the second element हमने design कर लिया, लेकिन बाकी element नहीं कर. That is why we are here today.
So this assurance of learning resources,
Yeah.
materials, requirement has to be an integrated part of the curriculum.
Design itself. Design में हो और फिर that administration or the management should be aware and should be able to provide you with that.
And there should be some check sheet that's okay. Have we assured this?
But
thing?
at the end of it, your student is paying for 10 experiments, 9 experiments in a subject. If he is not able to do those 9 experiments, he can say that, sir, आपके curriculum में ये लिखा हुआ था, आपने लिखा था कि भी मैं जब बस में जाऊंगा तो मेरे को कोक मिलेगा रास्ते में, मेरे को चिप्स का पैकेट मिलेगा. तो in the train nowadays they give you कि आपको राजधानी में, शताब्दी में वो आपको देते हैं कि आपको क्या मिलेगा. You can ask the TT on the that कि भी सर ये आपने लिखा था, आपको मेरे को ये नहीं दिया. ये स्टूडेंट्स सकते हैं. अनफॉर्चुनेटली ये हमारे पास करिकुलम फैकल्टी के पास भी नहीं है, और अनफॉर्चुनेट पार्ट है कि स्टूडेंट के पास तो वो तो बेचारा अपने सिलेबस को 70% पढ़ के 100% स्कोर करने की जोड़ में लगा हुआ है.
हमें तो बुलाया गया है, या HSBBC नहीं आना चाहिए था?
काफी लोगों को बुलाते हैं, हम उन लोगों को भी बुलाते हैं. और यस, आई अंडरस्टैंड दैट वेरी वेल व्हाट यू आर रीचिंग एट. जो आप बात कह रहे हैं, वी आर फुल्ली अवेयर. आई हैव 37 years of experience. Maybe I have visited more than I would say 2000 polytechnics and engineering colleges, and I am aware of that.
ऐसा नहीं है, खाली बोर्ड के आने से भी कुछ नहीं होता, बिकॉज़ एक कॉम्प्रिहेंसिव सी पिक्चर है. इसमें
Yeah.
एजुकेशन चाहिए, इसमें
ये जो
डॉक्यूमेंट चाहिए,
डिजाइन
इसमें
की मैं
manpower
बात कर रहा हूँ, वो
resources
डिजाइन
चाहिए.
अवेलेबल ही नहीं है.
It is not for
You know why every roof in India is leaking? क्योंकि वो why every roof in India is leaking? Because of this. Why we are not able to get that quality material, quality product in the market? When you are paying for this thing, why you are not getting the full life on that? आप 18,000 रुपए का आरओ लेते हैं, लेकिन आपके पास इंफॉर्मेशन का रिसोर्स नहीं है. वो आपको 23 TDS के ऊपर करके दे जाता है. वो आपको इट इज हार्मफुल टू योर बॉडी. रिसोर्स ही नहीं देके गया वो आपको टेस्ट लग रहा है कि सेम है जो इसकी बॉटल का है. Somewhere when I understand it very well, I tell that person कि यार मेरे को 23 TDS नहीं चाहिए, टोटल डिजॉल्व ऑक्सीजन नहीं चाहिए. I require more than 150, 500 तक की permissible limit है. The consumer, the students, your consumers are students, your consumers are industry. They should guide. जो आप कह रहे हैं सर, बोर्ड या यूनिवर्सिटी बाहर क्या है कि you in many of the good universities, even in India, I will share with you some models here. In India also, we have some premier institute जहाँ पर के ये resources, ये सब कुछ इसी तरीके से ही follow हो रहा है. Largely, I am saying, if not 100%, maybe 80%, 90%. हम लोग कहीं ना कहीं पे 30-40% के ऊपर काम कर रहे हैं. That is why we have this kind of program, sir. And then the time required for this topic, time required for this course, time required for this lab, time required for this workshop, time required for this whole 3 years में मेरे को कितना time, and वो सारा कुछ भी डिजाइन होना चाहिए. Time is very important element in the design. For example, if I design a project, I was executing a project in this institute, and I was working in construction material agency before coming to here, and working in Punjab irrigation department also. The time is very important in our activities. We have all sort of subjects which we have studied, and the softwares also nowadays. PERT CPM के बारे में आपने सुना होगा, जो इंजीनियर्स हैं. आपका टाइमली प्रोजेक्ट पूरा हो, टाइमली क्लास पूरी हो, टाइमली सारे काम पूरे हों, शेड्यूल बने, कैलेंडर बने पूरे इंस्टीट्यूट का. We have to be seriously working on that, but that time frame should be there in the design itself. When I design the construction site, तो I design के ये इस समय तक ये काम पूरे हो जाने चाहिए, इस समय तक ये. I designed a building, and I executed buildings here in this institute which were finished at least 1.5 months before the scheduled time, and which were finished with a budget of 11.5 crores. We could finish that in 10 crores. These are the results which you are able to get if you are having proper designing systems, without compromising on any strength, any quality parameter. And these buildings were awarded by the CPWD, which are executing the project all over India, the best building of the year. Without, you have to have some kind of if you are aware about what is happening, you should have a world-class diploma holders coming out from your polytechnic, world-class engineers coming from your engineering colleges if you are able to design. फिर कोई reason नहीं है. I don't see any reason. मैंने एक water treatment process design कर दिया. Then there is no reason कि जो पानी, why should I have this then on my table? When we are having sector 39 में water treatment plant लगा हुआ है, they should ensure कि इस end तक आते आते जो consumer के पास पानी जा रहा है, it should be clear. Otherwise, chief engineer, secretary, JEs, SC, तो सारी बैटरी की क्या जरूरत है? If I have to use this, we talk about plastic, we talk about this, we talk about that. I talk to you about RO. Why should we have ROs in our homes? Why should we? Our students should go to an academy in the evening, or after the classes are over. री-इंजीनियरिंग कर रहे हैं, हम लोगों को दोबारा से पढ़ा रहे हैं. वही इंडस्ट्री की कॉन्स्टेंटली कंप्लेंट आ रही है, मेरे घरों में ये प्रॉब्लम आ रही है, बच्चे हैजा हो रहा है, कॉलरा हो रहा है लोगों को, अर्थवर्म्स हो रहे हैं, सॉरी टेपवर्म्स हो रहे हैं, लोगों को प्रॉब्लम्स हो रही हैं, ई कोलाई आ रहा है पानी के अंदर. 80 to 85% of the problems related to your stomach is because of this. And we have whole battery of engineers, workers who have not been able to look into the elements. सिंपल चीजें हैं, सेडिमेंटेशन करानी है आपको, कोएगुलेशन करानी है आपको पोस्ट क्लोरीन एंड पोस्ट क्लोरीन ट्रीटमेंट करवाने हैं. सिंपल प्रोसेस है. जो आपके आरओ के अंदर हो रहा है वही प्रोसेस वहां पे लगे हुए हैं लार्ज स्केल के ऊपर. देन व्हाई शुड वी हैव इट हियर? आई हैव नॉट बीन एबल टू फाइंड आंसर्स फॉर दिस. क्लासेस लग रही हैं, सब कुछ हो रहा है, प्ले ग्राउंड्स हैं, कल्चरल एक्टिविटी हो रही है. यू आर डूइंग योर बेस्ट टू कम इन द क्लास एंड टीच. इंडस्ट्री फिर सेटिस्फाइड, बच्चों की प्लेसमेंट नहीं हो रही. वही बात होगी ना सर. कहीं ना कहीं पे कुछ गैप्स हैं, कहीं ना कहीं पे कुछ इम्प्रूवमेंट की जरूरत है. We need to look into that and start improving on that. Time is a very important element. Space and environment. In literature, in the educational research, there are only 5 elements which I mentioned here: objectives, contents, learning activities, learning material and resources, and time. I have added 4 extra elements here which are included in these 5 elements, but I have added 4 here to give special emphasis on that, because space and environment is very important. Though it is part of your material and resources, but I wanted to give an extra emphasis on this कि ये कहीं छूट ना जाए. Space and environment, physical environment, mental environment. What kind of culture you are developing in the, only cultural differences are there. The same syllabus, वही डिग्री दे रहे हैं वो IIT वाला भी, इंडोस्विस वाला वही डिप्लोमा दे रहा है, मोहम्मदलाल पॉलिटेक्निक इन बॉम्बे वही डिग्री डिप्लोमा दे रहा है, बिट्स प्लानी वाला वही डिग्री दे रहा है. उसकी डिग्री के ऊपर लिखा है बीटेक इन मैकेनिकल इंजीनियरिंग और सिविल इंजीनियरिंग और इलेक्ट्रॉनिक. आपकी डिग्री के ऊपर भी वही लिखा हुआ है, वो भी एआईसीटी रिकॉग्नाइज्ड है, आपकी डिग्री भी एआईसीटी रिकॉग्नाइज्ड. समवेयर एवरी डे की डिजाइनिंग में ये जो मैंने लिखा ना, एनवायरनमेंट, कल्चर, ट्रेडिशंस, उसमें अंतर है कहीं ना कहीं पे. एंड वी आर हियर टू डेवलप दोस कल्चर्स, दोस काइंड ऑफ एक्टिविटीज. मेरे इंस्टीट्यूट में क्या हो रहा है, आई एम नॉट, वो तो एक कल्चर है, मैं अपनी क्लास में अपने इस टॉपिक में क्या कल्चर डेवलप कर रहा हूँ, दैट इज विद इन माई ओन रीच. Nobody has told me, Dr. Vats has not told me to show this video to all of you. I try to, in my times, I like to watch some other things which can be relevant to our teachers, friends here, and I try to share those things with you, with all of you. You have the total autonomy in your classrooms. कि आपने कैसे करना है, what kind of space, what kind of culture you are trying to establish. Then grouping is very important. Grouping is again the learning activities का part है, but I put it separately. The purpose of classroom teaching is, theory teaching is developing concepts, developing procedures, developing cognitive abilities of the student. उनके दिमागों को चलना चाहिए ताकि उनको वो think कर पाए, कुछ create कर पाए. Thinking abilities develop करना is the purpose of the theory classes. Laboratories में क्या है? You are trying to verify and strengthen whatever you have taught in the theory. Verify करते हैं आप उसको, and it strengthened and it gives you long-term understanding of those contents which you have taught in the theory. The purpose is not to develop psychomotor abilities. आप उनकी physical abilities की बात नहीं कर रहे. It can be in a group also. But in the workshops, the purpose is you are trying to develop the psychomotor, उनकी physical ability की बात करें. They should be able to do things with their own hands. It is one to one. एक बच्चा एक ही जॉब के ऊपर काम कर रहा है, चाहे वो कारपेंटरी है, चाहे वो प्लम्बिंग है, चाहे वो वेल्डिंग है, चाहे वो स्मिथी है, या जो भी है. But in the purpose of the laboratory is very different altogether. Then the project is for the purpose of integrated manner में जो भी आपने theory और practical पढ़ाया, in a given situation with his creativity can he give you a solution to a problem. If he is able to do one problem during his 3 years time in diploma or 4 year time in diploma, he or she will get a confidence that I can now apply whatever has been taught to me in any other situation now. So you have a sample litmus test, जिसको कहते हैं ना हम लोग, थोड़ा से चावल निकाल के आपने देख लिए कि चावल पूरे पक गए कि नहीं पक गए. You don't check every चावल का दाना when you put it on the cooker. Yes or no? So we have those kind of things in the design also. Grouping is very important when you want to develop the students' ability to develop the psychomotor abilities. Then 1:1 station is required, and if you have only 5 stations or 10 stations, you have to group the student of 60 student आपकी intake है, you have to make them 12 groups में लेके आएंगे. यदि आपके पास 10 group है तो आप 6 group लेके आएंगे. So grouping is very important. Otherwise, some people are doing the work, some people are just watching. So grouping is very important. This should be part of your curriculum design, I would say. And then the teaching strategies. I have mentioned about the discovery or expository. You have to design it that this part needs to be exposed, this part needs to be discovered by the student. A guideline should be provided to the teachers. Okay, you use this kind of, depending on the intake of the student, the level of understanding of the student, you will decide about the strategies. And then the last one is procedures for the evaluation. The fourth component of the curriculum, that how do you make sure that whatever contents you have designed has been learnt by the student. Learnt not only by cognitive, by psychomotor, and by affective domains also. By the attitudinal changes, doing things with their own hands, and their brain power. So evaluation procedures are very, very important also. So these are the 9 elements which each designer should keep in mind. And when you are implementing the curriculum every day, you should ensure that in my class, with them coming in the theory class or in the practical class or of the class, if I am engaging a student somewhere, I am fulfilling the requirements of the curriculum objectives, the outcomes. मेरे टॉपिक के ऑब्जेक्टिव हैं कि मेरे इस क्लास के बाद यदि बच्चे को एक पानी की ग्लास दे दिया जाए, he should be able to diagnose very well, test it very well कि इसमें fluoride contents कितने हैं. What are the limits, upper limit and lowest limit of the fluoride in this glass of water? And if it is more or if it is less, what kind of treatment is required for it? If I am not able to do this, the student may be scoring 100% marks. I am no good for that. That should be the ultimate evaluation procedure. आपको हमने ये दे दिया, आप ये करके दिखाओ. Industry की ये requirement है, ये करके दिखाओ. Now, my dear friends, keeping the PPTs aside, I have the PPTs for that also. But time is not permitting me that I can go in the detail of that. But let me share with you. When we design, there are different approaches of design. In curriculum design, we have 3 models. Universally, we are having 3 models of approaching how do we design the curriculum of a program. It can be a diploma, it can be degree, it can be 10 class, it can be a postgraduate program. There are 3 models available. And based on those models, you will get altogether different designs. And believe me, I have done a lot of research on this subject because I worked in the Department of Curriculum Development for a very long time. I did a lot of research on this topic, and I tried to study the design of some of the diploma and degree programs, technical programs, not only civil engineering, but other programs in India different kinds of engineering colleges, different kind of universities, and abroad also, and made a comparative studies and find out कि क्या करते हैं वो. And then I come to know that there are 3 models available for design, which I want to share with all of you. You will know about it. कि कहाँ पे difference आता है और क्यों आता है, and where you are, what design you are using, and how you effectively you can implement those designs. I told you that for designing we require database. Yes, sir. We require a database to have a good design. In the absence of database, we won't be able to design anything because we cannot plan anything. Yes. अभी आने से पहले मैंने कमल से बात करी कि do we have the facility for video broadcasting? Otherwise, I will design my this 1 hour, 1.5 hours time in a very different way. Do we have the facility for this PowerPoints? Do we have the facility? I was in MNIT Jaipur last week to do a program. So I was coordinating with the local coordinator, Dr. Preeti Bhatt there, and I was asking her कि आपके वहाँ पे क्या कुछ available है classroom के अंदर. Do you have a whiteboard? I require a whiteboard. If it is not there, then I will design my lectures like this. Then I will design my this thing like this. I will design my lectures. What I'm trying to say is you must have a database. And the 3 models for designing a curriculum are based on what kind of database you are predominantly going to use for designing, for taking decisions while you are designing the curriculum. Designing basically is a decision-making process. We take decisions on every step. In civil engineering, we used to have a steel structure design of about 20 pages. उस समय ये software नहीं थे, तो 20 pages में we used to ask only 3 questions in the final exam for 4 hours. 3 designs हमें दिए जाते थे, and we used to take decision on every step कि ये decision लेना हमें, ये code कहता है, ये कहता है, ये चीज है, ये इतनी strength है, is it satisfying the safety conditions? यदि नहीं है तो then we go for the alternative. 3-4 sheets, answer sheets used to be filled with the 1-3 design structures. But then we were taking decision on every step. Every step we will take a decision on this. Do we require this? Do we require this? This alternative material, this alternate process is available. इसके क्या merit हैं, इसके क्या demerits हैं, इसके क्या merits हैं, इसके क्या demerits हैं. In the curriculum, I mentioned 3 models based on the database which you are going to use for designing. And each model is equally good or bad depending on how much demerits you are able to overcome in that decision making. डिसीजन मेकिंग में आपके पास पता है कि ये इसकी कमजोरी है, सो वी नीड टू डू दिस. मेरे को पता है कि ये कंक्रीट यहाँ पे ब्लीड करेगा, सो आई ट्राई टू डू समथिंग देयर. मेरे को पता है कि यहाँ पे ये होगा, यहाँ पे ये होगा, यहाँ पे ये होगा, सो वी ट्राई टू ओवरकम दोस शॉर्टकमिंग्स, और वी गो फॉर द अल्टरनेटिव मटेरियल एंड प्रोसेसेस if it is available. Yes, my dear friends, the first model based for curriculum design is if you take your decision based on the body of knowledge. Predominantly, A model, you take every decision कि ये content में होगा या नहीं होगा depending on the body of knowledge, the intake of the student and output of the students are also there. But ये मेरे पास time available है, ये सारे elements हैं, और ये body of knowledge है, इसमें से मैं क्या रखूं क्या नहीं रखूं. Whenever I go to Punjab University in the board of study meeting, they give me a curriculum. They say कि you take a decision now, sir, with the other experts sitting there, and we say कि ये इसमें अब ये भी आ गया, इसको रख लो, ये अब obsolete हो गया, इसको निकाल दो. My decisions are based on the contents, on the body of knowledge. It has a merit. I do not skip anything. It has certain demerits also. Okay, but I get a curriculum based on a model where I am taking decisions based on the body of knowledge in that field. यदि मेरे को hydraulics का एक subject दे दिया गया design करने के लिए, whatever things are there in hydraulics, I like to study, and based on those body of knowledge available to me, I like to put the contents and other things also. One design. Now B model, you take predominantly your decisions based on the database of the requirements of the industry and society. इंडस्ट्री ये चाहती है, सोसाइटी ये चाहती है, एंड उसकी रिक्वायरमेंट मेरे पास है, एंड आई टेक डिसीजंस ऑन दैट. Largely, when I was designing program for diploma programs and engineering programs in this institute, I was using B model. For that to happen, I must know the requirements of the society, requirements of the industry. Yes or no? It is, I am not focusing, I am not ignoring the body of knowledge, but predominantly my every decision is कि industry को ये requirement है, society को ये requirement है. I have a curriculum. With me? Are you with me? Yes. This will be very different curriculum altogether. Now, C curriculum, the model C is when you take your decisions predominantly. You are not ignoring the students. You are not ignoring the knowledge. You are not ignoring the industry. But predominantly, every decision is based on the student. You keep the student into focus. Student का ये aptitude है, उसका ये interest है, उसको यहाँ जाना है, उसको ये करना है, उसकी ये capability है. For every decision, you are focusing not on the body of knowledge. You are not focusing too much into the industry की क्या requirement है. You are not ignoring that. But predominantly, आप हर decision से पहले ये सोचते हैं कि student की क्या interest है, क्या requirement है. Our National Education Policy 2020 is directing towards that कि आप उनको ये तो पढ़ाओ, साथ में उसको म्यूजिक भी पढ़ा दो, उसको यदि इसकी भी जरूरत है तो उसको ये भी, minor, major, so many other components are coming. Flexibility is one of the very important component, and as you go higher in the hierarchy, for example, if you are going to MTech and PhD, वहाँ पे फिर आपको body of knowledge becomes secondary, your industry requirement is secondary. Student की क्या रिसर्च की, स्टूडेंट का क्या रिसर्च परस्यू कर रहा है, उसकी क्या रिक्वायरमेंट है, यू आर डायरेक्टिंग टुवर्ड्स दैट. You have a different kind of a curriculum, different kind of approach to implement that. Even in the pre-nursery class also, I would say in NCRT in its own wisdom has done a wonderful job in this country, which places India as one of the world leaders. I'm using the word one of the world leaders in the school education systems. कहीं कहीं पे कुछ प्रॉब्लम्स हो सकती हैं, वो अलग बात है, बट एनसीईआरटी, द स्कूल, द सेकेंडरी स्कूल ऑफ बोर्ड ऑफ एजुकेशन, उनकी जो डिजाइनिंग है उसमें वेरी लेस फ्लॉज आर देयर. उनके जो कंटेंट्स हैं, उनकी जो बुक्स हैं, यू जस्ट हैव ए लुक एट इट, इज सिंपली अमेजिंग. उनके जो सिस्टम्स हैं, उन्होंने कोशिश करी, हमने अभी कुछ कोशिश कर रहे हैं, एंड द स्ट्रक्चर शुड नॉट बी वेरी इजीली चेंज्ड बेस्ड ऑन एड हॉक डिसीजंस. मैं आपको एक छोटी सी एग्जांपल देता हूँ इसके बारे में. When I joined the Department of Curriculum Development in 1994, and I worked till very recently, about 2 years back, I was very curious to know कि जर्मनी में या यूएसए में, एमआईटी में, स्टैनफोर्ड में, वहाँ पे क्या डिजाइन कैसे करते हैं, हम लोग क्या सब प्रोसीजर फॉलो कर रहे हैं. Then I came to know about these 3 models, and मैं अपने लिए अपने कंट्री के मुताबिक अपने रिक्वायरमेंट कौन सा मॉडल यूज करूँ. I went to IIT Kanpur. Dr. Vinod Tare, who is a professor in civil engineering, was looking into the curriculum designing there. He was coordinating, but other people were also supporting him. And they are working on the model of MIT in USA. वो वाले मॉडल से काम कर रहे हैं. तो मैंने उनसे पूछा कि सर, this question is very much there in our minds. How often should we change our curriculum? He was taken aback. He said, sir, I have not changed my curriculum for the last 20 years. मैंने क्या फिर वही चीजें पढ़ा रहे हैं जो 20 years पहले पढ़ा रहे थे? कहते, you are talking about the contents, we change it every day. आज हमें पता लग रहा है कि भी ये मटेरियल आ गया, ये प्रोसेस आ गया, वो कर रहे हैं हम लोग. आज मेरी रिक्वायरमेंट ये है, मैं फ्रेम स्ट्रक्चर की बात करता हूँ सिविल इंजीनियरिंग में, जो स्ट्रक्चर मैंने बनाया वो इतना स्टर्डी है, इतना अच्छा है कि मेरे को जरूरत नहीं पड़ी बनाने की. मेरे को लग रहा है कि बेडरूम छोटा चाहिए, बेडरूम बड़ा चाहिए, किचन ऐसी चाहिए, ये सर्विस चाहिए, ये चाहिए. आई एम हैविंग ए प्रोविजन इन दैट सिस्टम, and our teachers are competent, our students are competent. Even if I don't teach my student, I'm talking about way back, sometime back, MATLAB was not being taught. It has never been taught in civil engineering in IIT Kanpur. My son studied from there from 2006 to 2010. It was not in the syllabus. MATLAB was not there. When I asked my institute, because my wife required to use the MATLAB for her research in mathematics, nobody knew MATLAB भी कोई चीज है, but I knew कि है. IIT का सेकेंड ईयर का स्टूडेंट इलेक्ट्रिकल का MATLAB के ऊपर काम कर रहा था. It was not part of the syllabus. प्रॉब्लम सॉल्विंग, उसको प्रॉब्लम ऐसी दी गई, ही हैड टू गो थ्रू द कि दुनिया में इसके ऊपर काम कैसे हो रहा है. विदाउट दैट इमेजिनरी कुछ इक्वेशन थी जहां पे कि आपके क्वेश्चंस ऐसे थे कुछ जो कि आप टैकल ही नहीं कर पाते मैनुअली. यू हैव टू गो फॉर द सॉफ्टवेयर एंड दिस बॉय वाज एबल टू डू दैट. We went to IIT Guwahati and IIT Kharagpur to understand what the MATLAB is and what kind of tools it is for the mathematician, for the electronics engineer, for the mechanical engineer. Much later, it came to our institute, and initially, a few classes were taken by my wife because she was trained by second-year student of not part of the curriculum, my dear friends. Problem दे दी कि उनको solution निकालना है. उस solution के लिए क्या resources चाहिए, क्या learning activity चाहिए. The students log in the libraries. They slog on the internet. The teachers also slog there. वो भी वहां बैठ बैठ के रात को देखेंगे तो वो टीचर्स हमारे यहाँ पे तो 4 बजे के बाद बहुत सारे इंजीनियरिंग कॉलेज बंद हो जाते हैं, पॉलिटेक्निक्स बंद हो जाते हैं. द ओनली डिमांड फ्रॉम द कॉलेजेस इज दैट सर हमारी लेबोरेटरी को पूरे रात खोल के रखिए. देयर इज नथिंग कॉल्ड फॉर 4 years. I know it for sure, rather 14 years, because he did his PhD and postdoctoral also, PhD also from IIT Kanpur. For 14 years he has never told me कि हमारे यहाँ पे strike हुई है बच्चों की कि this is out of syllabus. I taught 2 subjects in Punjab Engineering College and there was a strike in the class कि this is out of syllabus. I was called by the board of studies and they said कि आपने paper set करा था, this is out of syllabus. मैंने कहा I can agree on that. This question may be tough for the students, but I do not agree with this. This is out of syllabus. Tell me what is there in the syllabus. Tell me what is there in the curriculum. And I proved it there. But since all students are failing in this, or our students are scoring low, so whatever decision you want to take, administrative decisions of giving them grace or giving them another test, I agree with you on that. But for 14 years, there has never been a single instance when the students tell he out of syllabus. And you go to their website and try to see what is the syllabus is. 4 to 5 lines likhi hui hain har ek subject ke andar. Everything on the earth is in the syllabus. Whatever has not been taught in the class is being asked in the examination. And the students know this environment and culture there very well. अब मैं आप किसी बाहर के कॉलेज की, बाहर के कंट्री की एग्जांपल नहीं दे रहा, मैं आपको एग्जांपल दे रहा हूं अपने इंडिया की. इसी जगह पे so many institutions are doing, and that is why their placements are now everywhere. Industry are वो आंख रख के बैठी होती है कि ये स्टूडेंट बाहर निकलेगा तो इसको रखेंगे अपने पास. I can give you so many case studies on that also. But then these elements are very important. 3 different models you will get. वहां पे largely focus कहाँ पे है? Student के ऊपर. Second year में my son did a design project for the bridge designing. Second year में उनको कोई civil engineering ज़्यादा नहीं पढ़ाई गई थी. World level का शिकागो में एक bridge बन रहा था. They opened a competition कि whosoever will give the best design, best efficient design for the bridge design of a particular type, he will be suitably awarded and given a job. He was offered a job. Same हमारे उसको भी सिविल इंजीनियरिंग की डिग्री मिली. मैंने भी सिविल इंजीनियरिंग की डिग्री ली थी 82 में थापर से. I didn't have that kind of confidence. There was something. वहां पे फोकस कहाँ पे? स्टूडेंट की ये रिक्वायरमेंट है. Let us give this. उसके लिए फिर रिसोर्सेज चाहिए, लर्निंग मटेरियल चाहिए. That is where they are rich. I don't say that everything which is happening in IITs or IIMs or in AIMs is directly applicable to our polytechnics or engineering college. But whatever good is there, whatever good you can bring out in your classroom setting, may it be theory, may it be practical, may it be project, may it be any teaching learning, but may it be in the grounds. You go at 8 o'clock, वहां पे 5 flooded टेनिस के ग्राउंड्स हैं जहां पे फैकल्टी एंड स्टूडेंट खेल रही है. 8 o'clock स्टूडेंट भी खेल रहे हैं, वो भी खेल, बिकॉज दिस इज पार्ट ऑफ देयर करिकुलम. हमारे पास एक ग्राउंड है, उस पे ऊपर भी कोई नहीं है. 2 वॉलीबॉल के ग्राउंड है, बॉल ही नहीं है, बॉल ही नहीं इशू हो रही। कितना पैसा लग रहा है उसके ऊपर, कितने रिसोर्सेज लग रहे हैं इसके ऊपर। समवेयर द गैप्स आर देयर, समवेयर द गैप्स आर देयर। मैं सबको जनरलाइज नहीं कर रहा, ये चीजों को जनरलाइज नहीं कर रहा। देयर मे बी सम इंस्टीट्यूशन वेयर यू आर गिविंग लॉट ऑफ एम्फेसिस ऑन करिकुलर, को सेमिनार हो रहे हैं, कॉन्फ्रेंसेस हो रही हैं, सब कुछ हो रहा है। रिसर्च का एक कल्चर है, जो मैंने बात करी आपसे, यहाँ पे स्पेस एंड एनवायरनमेंट की बात करी। सो माय डियर फ्रेंड्स, दीज आर द एलिमेंट्स। मैं ये कह रहा था आपको, ये मैंने सब चीजें आपको कवर कर दी हैं। ये है नीड एनालिसिस, करिकुलम डिजाइन के बारे में मैंने बहुत ज्यादा एम्फेसिस दिया। इम्प्लीमेंटेशन, यू आर द इम्प्लीमेंटर। इफ यू अंडरस्टैंड द डिजाइन, यू विल बी एबल टू इम्प्लीमेंट। आपको पता हो कि 1:2:4 का मिक्स डालना है, और 1 स्टैंड्स फॉर व्हाट, 2 स्टैंड्स फॉर व्हाट एंड 4 स्टैंड्स फॉर व्हाट। ये इसको हमने इतनी वर्केबिलिटी, इतना पानी डालना है टू गेट दिस काइंड ऑफ स्ट्रेंथ। यू विल बी एबल टू डू दैट होपफुली। But if you do not know, understand that drawing, understand that design, फिर तो फिर आपकी मर्जी है। Then the curriculum evaluation. I have not come across any document in this country where we have evaluated a curriculum. I am not talking about evaluation student here. Fourth stage is कि regularly we see कि कहाँ पर प्रॉब्लम आ रही है, and we try to, you need एनालिसिस पे प्रॉब्लम है, डिजाइन में प्रॉब्लम है, इम्प्लीमेंटेशन में, रिसोर्सेज में, any of the elements, 9 elements में प्रॉब्लम है, we try to do that. I get a letter from your board or from the university कि हमारा so and so curriculum revise कर दो। I said कि what is the evaluation? स्टूडेंट्स की क्या फीडबैक है, एम्प्लॉयर की क्या फीडबैक है, टीचर की क्या फीडबैक है, जो आपका ड्राइंग का टीचर पढ़ा है उसकी क्या फीडबैक है, जो आपका कम्युनिकेशन का टीचर पढ़ा रहा है उसकी क्या फीडबैक है, जो आपका ये फला सब्जेक्ट का जो भी टीचर है, do you have a mechanism where you give a feedback? In the absence of that, I take first or second model. Yes or no? Largely first model. Cut paste. इसको कॉपी करो, इसको पेस्ट करो, इसको कॉपी करो, इसको पेस्ट करो, एंड वी डू दैट। और वो फिर हमारा एवैल्यूएशन सिस्टम, हमारा टीचिंग स्ट्रेटजीज।
प्रोसेस में अनफॉर्चुनेटली क्या होता है जी, करिकुलम तो चेंज कर दिया हमने, बोल दिया, बट हुआ कि करिकुलम चेंज हुआ लेकिन कंटेंट सेम रहा।
कंटेंट भी बदल, माय फ्रेंड, कंटेंट भी बदल दिया, लेकिन वो कंटेंट बदला क्यों और किसके लिए बदला गया? ना स्टूडेंट के लिए, ना इंडस्ट्री के लिए। कहीं ना कहीं पे गैप्स रह जाते हैं, कहीं ना कहीं पे। A small crack in the slab can fail the slab. Do you know this? जो सिविल इंजीनियर हैं यहाँ पे या my friends online, और जब कभी अर्थक्वेक आता है तो पूरी बिल्डिंग को नहीं गिराता, वो देखता है कि कहाँ पे वीक जोन है, फिर वो वहां से शुरू होके जो आपकी स्ट्रॉन्ग पॉइंट्स है उनको भी गिरा देता है वो। You have lot of strengths, my dear friends. My attempt here was to just share with you this information so that you try to minimize those gaps, those bleeding points, and you have a lot of strength. You have a lot of strength. Many of your students do very well in the industry. जो unfortunately due to ABC reason try to diagnose कि ये नहीं हो रहा. In your classroom, you have a freedom to do that. You are the leader in the classroom. You are the administrator in the classroom. You are the manager of your classroom. Thank you so much. Any questions from your side? ये मैंने कुछ नीड नर्सिंग के लिखे थे, जो मैं आपको मॉडल की बात कर रहा था। ये सब्जेक्ट स्पेशलाइजेशन मॉडल है, इसकी फिर वे है करने के लिए, इसके कुछ एडवांटेजेस, मेरिट, डिमेरिट्स हैं, मैं उसके बारे में डिटेल में नहीं गया। ये इंडिविजुअल स्टूडेंट के बेस के ऊपर मॉडल है। These are the steps to be taken. Ultimately, aim is that we should be able to satisfy the society and for the people for whom we are designing the curriculum. यदि मेरा 7th क्लास का करिकुलम है, 8th क्लास में उसकी जो प्री रेक्विजिट्स हैं वो नहीं कवर कर रहे 7th में, 8th टीचर विल हैव टू टीच दोस थिंग एंड सैक्रिफाइस हिज कंटेंट्स। यदि मेरी रिक्वायरमेंट ये है एमटेक में और पीएचडी में या इसमें, यदि वो मैंने बीटेक में नहीं कवर करी या डिप्लोमा में नहीं कवर करी, इंडस्ट्री विल सफर फॉर दैट। ये डिफरेंट मॉडल्स हैं, आई एम नॉट गोइंग इनटू डिटेल्स ऑफ ऑल दोस थिंग्स माय डियर फ्रेंड्स। एनी क्वेश्चंस इन योर माइंड, एनी कमेंट्स फ्रॉम योर साइड, एनी सजेशंस, एनीथिंग यू वांट टू शेयर, यू आर फ्री टू शेयर।
सर एक बच्चा डिप्लोमा इंजीनियरिंग में एंटर करता है, एंट्री से लेके एग्जिट तक व्हाटएवर ही और शी लर्न्स दैट इज अ पार्ट ऑफ
यस, everything which he does, what he eats, how he sleeps, that should be part of, I mean, वो एक healthy, एक wholesome personality की बात कर रहे हैं। उसमें सारे domains, cognitive domain, उसके psychomotor domain, उसके attitudinal domains, all three domains have to be addressed to. मैं यहाँ पे आया, रास्ते में बाथरूम आया और बाथरूम में नल का लीक कर रहा है, मेरा काम नहीं है. I am a faculty in charge administration and assistant professor here, but it is very much my part. That attitudinal part, effective domain यदि मेरे में नहीं है, sense of belongings नहीं है for my institute, फिर मेरी civil engineering और मेरी जो भी मेरे अंदर capability है वो zero है. Yes or no? वो भी एक important component है sir. Thank you so much for this question, sir. And I am saying we are doing reasonably very good. In higher studies, we need to be educated, we need to understand these things very well, and to the extent possible, whatever you can take home and start pursuing these things are important. We have the models in this country. आपको लग रहा है कि ए टीचर बहुत अच्छा करवा रहा है, उसके स्टूडेंट जो हैं इस सब्जेक्ट में बहुत अच्छा कर. You have a model with you. What activities, how he is doing that, we can do that in your class. Thank you so much, my dear friends. If there is no questions from the audience on the online also, then we close the session here. You have the timetable with you to follow the timetable for the next class. It was such a pleasure to talk to you. I wish I had more time than gone more in details about the models and other things. Implementation में अपनी एक पूरी lecture है, where you try to when a curriculum is given to you, you try to develop those resources. मेरे को ये content दीजिए, मेरे को ये content में मुश्किल आ रही है, I like to go to NITTR or IIT or industry to learn that. So all those things are part of the implementation. But I must acknowledge that मेरे को ये नहीं आ रहा. Amal is my guide in many things. When I was beginner in the online delivery of the things, I was not knowing. He was also working on that. Sir, he told me कि सर आप ऐसा कर लेंगे तो ये ऐसा effective हो जाएगा, ऐसा कर लेंगे. अभी ये tab मैंने फटाफट set कर दिया. First time I didn't know how to do that. But now, I acknowledge him and many other my friends here who are supporting me in this medium. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Kamal.
Thank you.